In this final installment of the mini lecture series on earned media, we're going to shift our attention to look at public relations and how public relations can be really important for positive impact projects, for non-for-profits and for charities. So what is public relations? Public relations is about reputation, the result of what you do, what you say, and what others say about you. So public relations is a discipline which looks after reputation with the aim of earning understanding and support and influencing opinion and behaviour. It's the planned and sustained effort to establish and maintain goodwill and mutual understandings between organisations and their publics. So it's the kind of the communication between a brand and their public to help to nurture a relationship, to make that brand or to help that brand maintain a positive impression in the mind of its publics. So it's about relationships, really. It's about communicating. So we can boil it down and look at the main aims of PR, public relations. One of the aims is to earn understanding and support. So we want people to know what it is we're doing. So relating this to your positive impact project, communicating to the general public and in particular to your target understanding who you are, what you stand for, what issue you're tackling, so that the public supports you, understands you, and wants to kind of facilitate and be part of your project. We also want to influence people's opinion and behaviour. Quite often the government does this with public interest campaigns. For example, encouraging people to wear seatbelts or encouraging people to quit smoking. These are campaigns that are based on altering people's behaviour or altering people's opinion of smoking, understanding that it's bad for their health. So this is a public relations campaign because the government are trying to communicate with the public and to kind of change their opinion or change their behaviour. So governments can do this, charities can do this, brands do this. So public relations is about that kind of communication from organisation to public. So quite often when people think of PR, public relations, they quite often think of crisis management. They quite often think of when brands do things that are perhaps unpopular. I know there's a particular air, what do you call them, a flight company, aviation company. For example, United Airlines in America, they run local flights and they have had many crises recently. And they've had a lot of unfavourable attention. We will actually look at them next session when we look at Earned Media Part 2 after Christmas as a case study for managing reputation and managing reviews and what happens when you don't do that. But PR is much more than just crisis management. It's much more than a tool that you roll out when things go wrong. It's something you should be doing and using all the time to help people, help the public become aware of you. What's your product? What's your service? Why should they choose you and not another brand? Why should they use this product or undertake this activity? So it's about communicating, creating relationships, fostering change, behaviour, etc. So this McNamara's model of public relations, this model is really helpful to help us understand the steps. So first of all, we need to put something in, which normally means we need to come up with stories, we need to come up with information. It could go in our newsletter, it could go on our website, it could be a press release that we send out to journalists. So we think we need to come up with some content. We need to understand what our audience needs to know, what they think, what we're trying to achieve. Then we have an output, so we publish something. Again, in this digital era, we can publish content on our website, on our blog. We can create white papers, guides, information that generally helps communicate a message to our audience. And the outcome, generally, what we're looking to achieve is for people to understand us, for people to be aware of us, for people to change their opinion about us as an organisation. So that is PR, it's the management of reputation. So how can social media and PR integrate? Again, social media is one of these things that's come along and really revolutionized very traditional marketing tools. Social media is a wonderful tool to help amplify your message and to help you reach your public. But sometimes on social media, due to the anti-brand algorithm, it can be quite difficult to reach a large audience, especially if you're new, especially if you've only just set up your project. But if you can actually work with a well-established publication, could be a local newspaper, a local radio station, a national newspaper if you're lucky, you could reach a much bigger audience and you could very quickly achieve that awareness that you need for your campaign to be successful. And once you've been featured in that magazine or the newspaper or perhaps on the radio show, you can then put that on your social media to when people do visit it, they go, wow, look, the BBC has interviewed you on their radio station. You must be doing good things. You must be trustworthy. So people tend to trust these publications because they're well established. They have a process for deciding who they write about, who they'll interview. So if you make that cut as an organization, if the publication chooses to write about you or interview you, it helps other people trust you because you've achieved that, you've earned that. So it's really important to think about PR and how we can integrate that with social media so we can amplify the effect and more quickly reach our objectives in terms of awareness and changing people's opinion. So I'd like to give you a little example. I've been involved in a positive impact project, a little non-for-profit here in Portsmouth, in Southsea specifically. About 2 years ago, a lady called Delphine moved here from France with her family. And in France, where she lived, there were lots of shops where you could buy food and bathroom products that weren't in plastic. You could refill your rice pot, you could refill your pasta, you could buy solid conditioner and soap. So you could shop for your groceries, your household products without having lots of plastic waste that gets thrown in the bin. Delphine moved to England and she was quite upset to find there were not so many shops like that, especially not in this area. So she had the idea of creating Portsmouth's first plastic-free supermarket. So she met with myself and a few other people, and we created a committee, what we call a steering committee, to take her idea and turn it into a reality. So one of the first things that we decided to do as a steering committee was to create a crowdfunder. So a crowdfunder is a website. It helps projects to raise money from the public so people can donate. Generally, you set a target. We did the maths. We worked out how much it would cost us to cover 6 months' rent, to fit out the shop, to buy some stock, all these other little costs as well. And we landed on a figure of £40,000. So we needed to raise £40,000 to make this shop a success. So we created this crowdfunder page, and we went about driving traffic to this page. So I'm just going to play you a little excerpt from a radio interview, a great piece of PR that we managed to secure that helped us to reach our audience and helped us to achieve our target.
Julian Clare, Through the Morning with BBC Radio Solent.
Now let's talk about Portsmouth's first plastic-free supermarket. Launching tonight, the package-free Larder wants to make shopping more sustainable. And let's say hello to my next guest joining me on the line now to talk more about this. Hello to Connie Fenner from the plastic-free Larder. Connie, lovely to see you. My goodness, that was a quick change in that chair. Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello,
so how's this going to work?
So we are hoping to obviously launch Portsmouth's first plastic-free supermarket. I talk so much about plastic, I can't get it off my mind. And it will kind of be a social hub. It'll be a little social enterprise where loads of community projects and things can get together and just sort of be a part of this movement that we find ourselves kind of in at the moment in Portsmouth, as well as obviously selling plastic-free grocery goods.
Well, judging by our audience, it's a movement that's not just in Portsmouth, it's right across the south, all across the country, because people have had enough of single-use plastics being...
So that's just a little excerpt from the video, the plastic-free Larder interview with BBC Solent. So the BBC is one of the oldest broadcasting institutions, and they have local radio shows for each region of the country. So we were very lucky to secure a radio interview with BBC Solent, which again just helped raise awareness. It helped drive traffic to the website. It helped gain people's trust so they were willing to pledge, and it helped us to achieve our target and raise the £40,000 we needed to actually make the shop a reality. So now you can both shop online and you can visit the shop on Elm Grove in Southsea, and you can purchase your grocery products plastic free. So in total, we had, I think it was 4 newspaper articles. We managed to be featured 4 times in the print press. We had in total 3 radio shows, BBC Solent, Capital. I think we came back again to have an update with BBC Solent. We also managed to get featured in the UK Huffington Post, a very well respected sort of publication, in their an article about the shop. So we managed to achieve some really significant PR, and I really don't think we could have achieved our target of raising £40,000 if it hadn't been for the PR. It both helped us to reach our audience, and it helped our audience to sort of trust us and know that we're established and this thing is going to become a reality. So I can't stress enough how vital PR is for non-for-profits, for charities, for small community projects, because it helps you to achieve your awareness objectives and helps people to trust you. So how do we generate media coverage? It all sounds very nice. Get a radio interview, simple as that. Well, there is a sort of a process or a system we can follow that can help us to achieve that. One of the first things we need to do is connect and develop relationships with key influencers. It could be influencers online, it could be radio hosts, it could be editors and journalists. So we need to find out who the right people are. And then we need to come up with a catchy pitch. A pitch is a way of presenting our idea in an attractive, exciting manner that's normally quite quick and to the point, because people are busy. So we need to sum up our idea in a really persuasive and powerful way to grab people's attention. And if we have been successful in creating something really innovative and novel, that really helps as an outreach tool. If you're doing something really impressive, something really unique, and it's newsworthy, you're more likely to have a publication, a radio show, a magazine or a newspaper want to feature you, because what you're doing is fun and exciting. So use that creative content as a sort of an outreach tool. So part of this week's activity is for you to come up with a way of pitching your positive impact project in a way that would help you to secure some editorial, to secure some PR. There's a whole instruction sheet on Moodle, which gives you, it's a Word document, and it gives you step-by-step how to do it. I think it's a really, really valuable tool, and for your assessment, it will be a brilliant learning opportunity and a chance to show off your skills and your talent in integrating offline and online, of integrating earned media and then amplifying that through social media. So if you don't choose to do the activity this week, the PR activity, I would definitely encourage you to do this as a group together at some point, because I think it is a fantastic way to get positive impact projects off the ground.